We have the start of the CONCACAF W Champions Cup, and it is going to be broadcast all across CBS Sports and Paramount Plus. It is the second iteration of this tournament. The last one was won by Gotham FC. They won the inaugural edition that started in August of 2024, finished with the knockout stages in May before Gotham took down Tigres in a 1-0 win this spring earlier this year. So now we get the second iteration. It features 10 teams from 6 CONCACAF associations. It starts now in August, and the group stage runs through October with round robin games, and then the knockout rounds start. That will kick off in May of 2026. So it does take place over 2 calendar years. But now we get the second edition of it. So there's a little bit more about this tournament and what's going to happen, because not only is it bragging rights and you get a trophy, but the winner does qualify for the W Club World Cup. So there's a lot on the line in this tournament. But let's talk NWSL teams, Jess, because they are not only playing in the league right now, but several of these teams get to now go play in the CONCACAF W Champions Cup. Orlando Pride, Gotham FC, and Washington Spirit, just the 3 NWSL clubs competing, but it is a very tight NWSL playoff race. I mean, there's only 8 points separating 3 through 8, where Orlando sit, Washington, and Gotham. How do the NWSL teams juggle this CONCACAF W Champions tournament with regular season play?
At this point, especially for the players, of course, recovery is going to be key after all of these games, because it is a lot on their bodies at the end of the day. So hopefully with these amazing opportunities to be able to play in these tournaments, I think that this is a good time for players who don't get enough playing time throughout the season to be able to showcase themselves and make names for themselves, and why they have a contract with these NWSL teams. But I think that at some point there has to be a chat with, maybe it's FIFA or whoever is running the show, that I think these games could possibly be played during some kind of break, during some kind of off season. I think this will be a good opportunity in off season or preseason to be able to get these games in, just because I think it's a lot on these players. But hopefully with the depth and maybe other signings, some players that they can sign that can fill in as well, would be very helpful. But I think it's a lot, but I think it's a great opportunity for the NWSL, and to be able to have this kind of opportunity to play other teams from other places.
The scheduling is a little bit confusing, but the fact that the NWSL goes March to November means that it's not on the World Football schedule. So finding a cohesive off season or preseason isn't really practical with these groups when you look across the CONCACAF nation, especially in the NWSL. So it's almost like the NWSL teams get almost shafted because of how this is played August, September, October, and then in the spring, Sandra. But it does provide a different wrinkle that we get to see different teams and different clubs competing in this. Some Liga MX clubs coming in with Club America that is going to compete here in this. No Tigres in this competition, which I think is a big letdown for a lot of people wanting to see them play. But what are you looking for in this tournament?
I think that's what I'm going to keep an eye on. It's the second edition of the tournament. So what are the ways in which it has grown? Like what are going to be some of the varying levels of competition? And I think maybe we could see some similarities to what we saw during the inaugural edition of this. It's likely that we will see some more informed teams or more established clubs go out there and have those kind of statement games that we against maybe teams who are not used to having these types of opportunities in front of them. And I think that's one of the other underlying conversations about this, is we talk so much about different matches across different leagues and what the fixture calendar looks like and how that relates to this concept of growing the game within women's soccer. Like, what are the tangible things that you can identify that growth? It's stuff like this. And while it is also equally, I think, uncomfortable within the same conversation to be like, oh, like there's some fixture congestion here? Like, how do things get figured out to make sure that it is not so burdensome on a player's body? Like, those will hopefully be things that can get resolved. But I think in the beginning stages of building something like this, like, it is about that visibility versus kind of maybe getting all of that stuff ironed out. So I am hopeful that maybe that gets resolved in the future. But for now, already, like in year 2, just listening to you rattle off the teams, Lisa, like, there are new additions to this competition just compared to a year ago. While we celebrated Gotham's victory and what it's going to mean for them to represent NWSL moving forward, but there's others who are going to get in the mix here in Orlando Pride. And we had that conversation last year as well, where we're just kind of like, oh, well, how does this competition truly reflect the levels that we're seeing across the region if a team like Orlando Pride isn't in it? And now here they are, after having that incredible season that they had, they're in the second edition of it. And we also get to see Washington Spirit in that light as well, because they also had a very good season in 2024. So I think in looking at some of those newer teams that we didn't get to see last year, so let's toss out Gotham, let's toss out Club America. We are not going to see Tigres because of their finish in Liga MX Femenil. It was a historic elimination for them in the quarters. Who are those teams that are going to kind of take this opportunity in front of them and try to make a little bit of a statement? Will it be Monterrey? They're not a new team to this one, but they kind of have that experience of not having advanced in the previous one, but now they're back. And so what can they build off on their experience? Will we see that kind of growth from them in particular? Or will Pachuca, new arrivals to this competition, go and make a statement of their own and say, hey, maybe Tigres couldn't get it done, but we're here. We're going to get it done in Group A. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we see that kind of more narrow type of match between them and a Club America, where there's those layers of familiarity between clubs.
Okay, let's talk about some of these clubs, because last year we had Portland and San Diego that were also in this competition that are no longer in it. We welcome in Washington and Orlando, Gotham, the reigning champs of the CONCACAF W Champions Cup. So of these 3 NWSL teams, Jess, that you see, Orlando is in Group A, and then Gotham and Washington are in Group B. Which team has the best makeup to make a long run in this tournament? I'm talking roster depth, the style that they play, the ability to recover, even the individuals on the roster.
I will have to go with Washington Spirit on this one. I think they have had some key pieces back into their squad throughout this season. Obviously, with the loss of Ashley Hatch is a big loss for them. But with Trinity Rodman coming back after her injury, Corey Bethune is getting into peak fitness. They have Casey Kruger back. I think that they're the full package. They've always had depth, and they've always had that fight in them. They've always had that dog in them. Think about what happened last season, all the adversity that they went through in 2024, still making it to the championship. We all wrote off Washington Spirit at some point last season. Like, this is a lost cause with all of these players dropping out due to injury, and whatever else was happening, coaching changes. I mean, they went through a lot. And so I think that Washington Spirit has that dog in them to have a long run in this tournament.
Yeah, they're already going through a lot this year. Another coaching change and players going on maternity leave. Washington sit 4th in the NWSL standings right now on 28 points. So they're tied with Orlando. That's just one spot ahead of them in 3rd. I mean, it doesn't get any tighter than this. And now you have to throw another competition on top of it, Sandra. Yeah. It's like one thing after another for all of these teams.
It's bringing a smile to my face, though, a little bit, Lisa. Like, listening to Jess.
You like the chaos.
I do. I'm here. I'm here for it. I like listening to Jess like talk about it. It's just like shouting out the Spirit and some of the depth on their roster. It's like, here we go. Let's get cooking in this very CONCACAF like region specific tournament, and let's bring out Sofia Cantore. Like, go off, Italian International, in the name of CONCACAF, girl. Let's go. Like, that's what I like. I'm here for that stuff. Like, I'm always here for like the kind of quirky, funny stuff as well. Like, soccer's supposed to be fun at the end of the day. It's like I know that this is such early and beginning stages for a tournament like this. And what's happening right now is it's building its relevancy, because there's still these, these kind of like, like under the radar, like kind of feelings about it, where it's just like, here we go again. Like, here's the thing that players are going to have to figure out. And like, that's unfortunate, like, because coaches are supposed to figure that out for their rosters. Staffs are supposed to figure that out for their rosters. To Jess's point, the recovery, like those plans are supposed to be in place for players when there is a week in front of them that has this type of congestion. And just because we've seen it in like a league like NWSL before doesn't necessarily mean it's okay. But we do know that professionals in the NWSL have had to manage those type of weeks, and that they have found themselves capable of doing that. So how a team like the Spirit manages this, Gotham, Orlando, maybe in that sense, it's just another way in which NWSL clubs have those advantages in this particular CONCACAF Champions Cup competition, compared to, a team, like Alianza Women or Alajuajense, or a newcomer in Chorrillo FC. Like how they manage match congestion, being informed, like being fit, like those are also the ways in which certain clubs are going to outshine others. And maybe that could also include the Liga MX Femenil teams, who might have that leg up against some of these other clubs, whether they're representing Panama or Canada.
I think that shout is really important, the familiarity of it. And that's why for me, Gotham's gonna take a run at this tournament, because they understand what this tournament is all about, the competition that they're going to face, how to do the rotation, because Gotham's already done it. I think that's the leg up that Gotham has over Orlando and Washington, that really don't know kind of what they're getting themselves into in this tournament. But Washington Spirit, they're going to find out real fast what the CONCACAF W Champions Cup is all about, because it's match day 1 today, guys. And Washington Spirit takes on Alianza FC. That match is tonight on CBS Sports Network at 8 p.m. Eastern. There's a couple other matches this week. Wednesday, we get to see Gotham in action against Monterrey. That is also on CBS Sports Network at 7 p.m. So write it in your calendar, and we'll see you there on CBS Sports Network for the CONCACAF W Champions Cup.